Jiggy cat on a damn feeling spree. This is Nagato, and you can't mimic my energy. 100 round drum and be hanging like a centipede.
Hey everyone, it's me Nagato's Revenge and welcome back to the channel. Hopefully everyone is doing okay and hopefully everyone is staying inside safe. One thing I do want to state before I even get into the meat and potatoes of this video is just a big thank you to my fans and supporters for, allowing me to have 10,000 subscribers on my channel. I wouldn't even think I would get this far, and I just want to say thank you all for all of the love and support I've been receiving from all my videos. So thank you for that. But for today's main video, we're just going to go ahead and get straight into it. And I'm going to be teaching you guys on how to unlock the PlayStation Vita's 4th CPU core for homebrew and games. And this video will be quite a long segment, so what I plan on doing is having two portions of this video kind of split into two. So the first section will be about just a discussion and synopsis on what this topic is about, since I had to do a lot of research on this myself, and thus I think this process may be not for the average user, and I'll get a little bit more into that. And then I will have a segment for just the installation side of things. One thing I do want to state as of right now, if you just want to go ahead and get to the installation, I will have the timestamp officially right here as well. YouTube has this new feature, and once I edit out this video, I will basically have this in the description. I can add chapters, so if you want to go ahead and check out certain sections and topics of what I'm talking about in a video, whether it be the synopsis section versus just the installation, you could go ahead and check out the chapters, and you could from the video log or timeline, you could just skip through that. But with that getting out the way, there are some major disclaimers I do want to state before this process, that this guide showcases more for advanced users, and its overall purpose may not be for the average homebrew consumer. So these set of homebrew apps and plugins are useful for homebrew developers, and it's basically more for people who really want to get more out of their PlayStation Vita, and just for homebrew developers that are working on the Vita for today. Another disclaimer I do want to go ahead and state: in this video, I'll be giving a general synopsis and overview on three main plugins / apps, which are the following. So the two plugins, or I should say the first plugin, is ioPlus.skprx. The second one is called Optimizer.VPK, and last but not least, we're going to be talking about Core Unlocker 80,000H HENkaku². And then what I'll do now is kind of give a general information and just some keywords that I think people should know about these plugins, since there is a lot of information I do want to cover over now. But with that being out the way, ioPlus is a PlayStation Vita kernel plugin that allows more IO operations in via userland. As for the thread Optimizer.VPK and skprx, the thread optimizer is a plugin plus configuration application, aka like a VPK set, that allows you to adjust thread priority and CPU affinity mask of any threads created by a game to achieve its maximum performance. Basically, with this plugin and as well as the VPK, you can enable that 4th core, and you can achieve maximum performance, since that 4th core was hidden. And I'll get more into that. We're going to be reading a lot of articles of today, and just some other key things that will basically support this general information I'm giving you right now. Here's also some more general information that I think it's key to note. Core Unlocker 80,000H is a plugin for the PlayStation Vita that allows a game mode application to use system reserve CPU core, so CPU 3. And the thing I do want to talk about today is snapshots, which is something that is going to be utilized within the thread Optimization.VPK. So a snapshot is just basically a file that holds information about all of the threads that said title has been created, and the title I'm going to be testing out today is Gravity Rush. And once a snapshot has been made, it can also be used a preset to store user edited threads and parameters. So with these custom snapshots, you can enable some different threads and cores, which can enable basically for your homebrew applications or your basically your games to run in a better performance, essentially with the plugin combo as well as the 80,000H plugin itself. So with all of these three things combined, and even with overclocking as well, you can utilize that for homebrew and gaming. Some other things about threading, if y'all guys don't know what it is, and I will have actually a video later on, or a video that I thought was pretty good explaining about this. So threading in computer science, a thread of execution is the smallest sequence of program instructions that can be managed by a scheduler, which is typically a part of the operating system. So if you want to learn more about that, I will actually have a card to the video right now, as well as it in the link in the description and the pinned comment if you want to learn more about threading. I think it's really important if you guys don't know the concept of it, which I had to do some research on myself because I didn't know what the hell it was. But another general information we're going to learn about, or I'm trying to teach you right now, CPU affinity mask, which this determines on how many cores a thread is able to use, which can range to 1 core to 4 CPU cores at once. And that's what kind of the thread Optimizer.VPK and its plugin allows you to do for the PlayStation Vita. Last but not least, some of you guys probably already know this, SoC, which is going to be a terminology I may use throughout the video, which is just basically a system on a chip. And with that being all out the way, we're going to get in today's prerequisites, and everything and any useful information I use for today's video will be in the link in the description down below, just like any of my other videos. So of course you need a modded PlayStation Vita that's already hacked, whether if you're using a Trinity, HENkaku, H-Encore, H-Encore² exploit. For today I'm using my HENkaku Enzo 3.60 1000 Vita. That's what I'm using. As well, this works from 3.60 to 3.73 firmware, as long of course if your device is exploited. You also need Vita Shell, a Wi-Fi connection, either FileZilla FTP client or WinSCP, doesn't matter, as long as you have a file transferring program via your PC or even your phone. If you really want to, you can utilize that. If you have a USB charging cable, you can use that as well. Auto plugin 2, the latest version, I'll show you guys on how to install that. You'll also need ioPlus.skprx, Core Unlocker 80,000 HENkaku², and as well some other key core prerequisites you need for today is a no MPDRM plugin. This is kind of optional if you're using no MPDRM game dumps. If you don't know how to install games via no MPDRM, I will have a card right now for that. But you can use any PlayStation Vita title to utilize this, or Homebrew application to create your snapshots. And for today's example, I'll just be using Gravity Rush. With all the prerequisites and main statements getting out the way, we're going to go ahead and transition for the introduction and synopsis section, and then we're going to go ahead and move over to the installation guide portion of this tutorial. Alrighty guys, assuming that you did follow all of the prerequisites and what I had to state in terms of key information in the intro side of the video, we're ready to go, and I'm ready to get started on teaching you guys, or just trying to give you a overall synopsis and rundown on these plugins, and try to, for my best of my ability, to give you the core information that you'll need to learn for this process. So I'm going to be using Wololo.net, which has been a great help to me in terms of research on both of these plugins. And it allowed me to basically kind of give a rundown on what is the process to basically unlock that 4th core for your PlayStation Vita. So you can see here, I'll just read this along the line via right now. So like all modern day consoles, the PlayStation Vita source or system on a chip contains multiple CPU cores, but not all of these cores can be utilized by games in Homebrew. So out of the 4 cores, 1 core CPU 3 is dedicated exclusively to handling system processes. So that's basically mean just regular system stuff. So I'm assuming like stuff like live area, trophy application information, basically nothing that is dealing with like actual gaming and stuff. So just XMB or live area in case of the Vita. And it's noted here that basically the Vita's processing power is slashed by 25% without using this core, and however it was noted that this core generally hovers around 10 to 15% of utilization while playing a game when prompted. So from here, Team CPBS member Graphene, and he's the developer who created this plugin, has came up with a new solution to utilize this for gaming and Homebrew. So right here, I probably will have this blown up a little bit better. So yeah, from this image right here, you can see this main chip here, I'm assuming is the 4th core that allows you, or the chip itself that allows that 4th core to be enabled. So let me just go back out from this website, and I'll try to keep reading along. So as a result, a kernel plugin called Core Unlocker 80,000H was released with the 80,000H part referring to the CPU affinity mask required for a thread to use the Vita's 4th core. So basically this affinity mask allows you to, or basically opens up the Pandora's box and allows you to utilize the 4th core. And this plugin's main purpose is to remove a check barring non-system applications from using the aforementioned system reserve core, but it doesn't magically work by using software. So what I do want to state here, just with the plugin alone, and you can just read it for yourself here, it won't allow you any basically any performance differences in terms of games, which will bring me along to this via right here in a second, talking about Thread Optimizer. So it takes a multitude of other plugins and another setup to utilize this for the 4th core. So you can see here with just this image with Graphene's upcoming configuration and plugin app, which is Thread Optimizer. Games like Borderlands 2 may have a better experience at playing, since I think it had like frame issues and just like the game basically didn't run at its its best speed per se. And with like overclocking and stuff like that, utilizing Core Unlocker 80,000H ioPlus and with the Thread Optimizer, you can get the best results for your homebrew applications if you're a developer, or if you're trying to basically get the best out of your Vita titles that may have issues. So Borderlands 2 was like a big example. I'm gonna go ahead and back out of that. I will also have all of the links to all of the homebrew threads I will have from Rollo.net and any of the websites I use. But just to go ahead and showcase this website, this is what I was mainly talking about earlier about Thread Optimizer, and this in particular, and you can see from this picture, allows you to set some of your games threads for the Vita and basically can alleviate some performance problems in certain titles. So I'll just kind of showcase this here real quick by using snapshots, which I told you guys earlier in the intro. You could basically take a snapshot of your game, which I'll show you guys later on how to do that and set it up. And basically you could mess with the threads and add core, or you enable that 4th core for said thread, and you can basically get better performance out of your titles. Or if you're doing this for homebrew applications, then you could do this as well. So you can see here CPU affinity mask. This just determines how many cores the thread is able to use via in the CPU cores. CPU thread priority, the developer says not to mess with this, but just to showcase here, this determines the importance that the scheduler gives a specific thread. I'm really not too sure about that, and I'm really not too keen onto it. So if the developer says not to mess with it, that's what I'm doing as well. I'm not really going to be messing with any of those settings. I'm just going to be showing you guys on how to capture a snapshot and basically how to save it, because what should happen, or what is possibly happening along with the scene, there probably may be some subreddits like via right here from this collusion, such games like Borderlands 2. There may be some configuration snapshots that will have like basically presets that end users can utilize, and with the use of overclocking and with this new application with the plugins, you should have a better performance. But as of right now, as I'm recording this, I didn't see anybody utilizing Borderlands 2 or any other games yet, since I guess it's a fairly new application and it's really only for like development use, as well as people who know what they're doing in terms of setting these type of configurations for the snapshots to get possibly better performances out of games. But without getting that out the way, I know I'm kind of rambling on. I did want to cover those two articles, but let's go ahead. I'm gonna toggle over to the installation part of this guide, and I will be showing you on how to get this set up on your PlayStation Vita as of right now. Alrighty, so as of right now, I'm back onto my PlayStation Vita device. So welcome to the installation segment of this guide. What I'll do is, give you the full rundown on how to fully set this up, but I'll just kind of show you just a quick tutorial or just how it kind of looks. So I already have a saved thread from the actual game itself. This is Gravity Rush. If you look up the content ID, so where it says PCSA0011, that is the American version of Gravity Rush. But you can see here from the snapshot I did, and by hitting X, you can see here by looking at the thread selections, and you could toggle by hitting R on your Vita device, and just by clicking any thread I could either select I can edit the affinity, or I can edit the actual core. So like it says, if no core is set, CPU affinity will automatically be assigned by the system. So if you know what you're doing in terms of thread editing, let's say if I wanted to do this one where it says gravity animation, if I wanted to up the core for that, all I would have to do is hit X over it, and then I can back out, and you can see here that it's already basically it's already saved. And then all I have to do is hit square, and then the snapshot will be saved. So anytime I will load a game such as Gravity Rush, though, that core will be set for that thread in itself. Now, messing with threads may take a while, and it may take just some playing around with. So not all games of course will be the same. So messing with certain threads and functionalities may trigger some things. It may not even like boot the game. So it's very only keen to people who know what they're doing in terms of that. But what I'm going to do in live time is delete the application. So I'm showing you guys on how to set this up manually, and I'm going to show you guys on how to get everything. So first things first, as of right now, have a game that you want to test. In this case, I'm not going to show you guys on how to install games. You could go ahead and check out my other video for that. I will have that in the link in the description down below. But what I'm going to do as of right now is open up Vita Shell. Right now, what I do recommend is making sure that your Wi-Fi is now on your device. So what I'm going to do is just make sure by holding down the PlayStation Home button that the Wi-Fi is on. So you can see that my Wi-Fi application is on. And now what I'm going to do is go to Vita Shell, and I'm going to just open up the application. And right now what I'm going to do is, you can see me back onto the home screen. I am using the latest version of Vita Shell 2.2. If you guys don't have that, I will have that in the link in the description down below as well. But all you got to do is hit start on your Vita device. And then what you want to do, if your thing is selected to USB, make sure by using right on your D-pad to scroll down to the selection. You can either hit left and right to toggle it. Make sure it's to FTP, and make sure your Wi-Fi is on. And then if everything is good, if you hit select again, it will broadcast your Vita's IP address. And what we're going to do is just leave your Vita on standby right now, and we're going to go back to the PC, and we're going to download all of the files we need for today, as well as the key things we'll need to get this set up. So I'll meet you guys back on the PC. Alrighty, so as of right now, your PlayStation Vita should be on FTP mode within Vita Shell. Once again, if you don't have Vita Shell, I will have that in the link in the description down below. But what we're going to do is open up our web browser. So whether if you're using Firefox, Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, Internet Microsoft Edge, or whatever it's called, I will have all of the links in the link in the description down below. But I'm going to show you guys on the main stuff on how to get our download. So first things first, I will have this website right here, and this is from Graphene himself, from the actual developer who made the Thread Optimizer.VPK and plugin itself. And this is a readme. So let's just go through this together. Thread Optimizer is a plugin plus config application set that allows you to adjust thread priority and CPU affinity mask of any threads created by the game to achieve its maximum performance. So with the Thread Optimizer, with these two required plugins, then you could basically achieve maximum performance on your said titles and homebrew applications. One thing I do want to go ahead and state as well, disclaimer, this plugin is intended for users who have a understanding of the concept of threading. That's why I introduced that video earlier in the intro that you guys could take a look at. If you guys don't understand threading, just either use that video or just basically look up on Google. But if you don't have no idea of what you're doing, you will have the option to wait until somebody shares their presets for the game you want. So that's why I was trying to reiterate back in the synopsis side of the first segment of the video. So if you want somebody, basically you could just look up on forums or the Vita hack Reddit post side of things, and let's say if somebody has like the preset configuration of a snapshot for Borderlands 2, you could go ahead and wait for that. So That's what I'm going to be showcasing here. So via right now, we're going to go ahead and talk about the 2 plugins which we'll need. So I already have these 2 links already up, so which is ioPlus, and ioPlus once again is just utilizing, or basically it allows you to elevates the IO of all applications, and you can install that via from the GitHub here. And all you would have to do is once you get to this page, I will have this in the link in the description down below. You can just hit download, and it will download the actual ioPlus.skprx. I already had it on my PC, that's why it says I have like a second version of it, but that's one of the key things you'll need for this process. Second thing we'll need is the Core Unlocker 80,000H plugin. So I'm going to go to this website right here. I will have it right now, and just to reiterate, this plugin alone won't give you better game performance. And you can see here that was one of the frequently asked questions, so I'll just reread it so you know this plugin wouldn't improve performance in games by itself. It only removes the checks, prevents games from using system certified core CPU affinity mask. Improving performance will be a second task of basically the second plugin and configuration app, which is Thread Optimizer. So that's what he was referring to, because this came out first and then Thread Optimizer and the plugin application came out second. And as once again, you could go ahead and if you're a Homebrew developer, this is basically for you guys. When creating a new thread, specify that this hex value for CPU affinity mask. You could also use that value with SEE kernel change thread CPU affinity mask to change any affinity mask that is existing in that set thread. So if you're a developer, to me this looks you know, kind of foreign since I don't develop for the PlayStation Vita, but if you're a developer, that is for you. But all you got to do is just go ahead and go to the official GitHub, which I have here, and download the latest release of the Core Unlocker 80,000 HENkaku, since we're going to be needing that for today. Second thing, what we need is the actual Thread Optimizer VPK itself, which let me go to here. And we also need the HENkaku and the VPK. So make sure you download the latest version. As I'm recording this video on June 30th, Tuesday 2020, version 1.4 is up, but go ahead and download SUPRX and the VPK, which is the latest version for your time while watching this video. Now that we have ioPlus, Core Unlocker, Thread Optimizer, VPK, and the SUPRX, we're good to go and ready to get this installed onto the Vita. So right now I'm going to close out of Google Chrome, and what I'm going to do is open up my PlayStation Vita, or not my PlayStation Vita, but open up FileZilla client. You can use WinSCP or whatever you want of your choice, and what we're going to do is type in our PlayStation Vita's IP address. If you guys don't know what your PS Vita IP address is, I will have like a little picture showcased on the screen once I edit this out on where to get it from. It literally says it on the screen via with FTP server, but in my case mine is 10.0.0.248 or 248. Those will be different of course, but our ports will always be the same. So you could go ahead and type in 1337. Everything is okay. You should be able to quick connect, and you should see all your directories. The directories we're going to focus on now is UR0, and we're going to focus on our TIE folder where our configurations at. What I recommend doing is go ahead and taking your config.txt and dragging it out to this, since we're going to have to label our configuration files manually, since I think auto plugin didn't have this via setup already. As well, I'm going to go into my downloads folder, and I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop all of the files we need for today. So right now we have my config.txt file. We also have the VPK, the XPRXs, and we're going to go ahead and basically get the setup for the config.txt. Yours, you won't have this issue since you're probably downloading this the first time, but make sure you rename it to the correct thing. So you can see here how I had like that semicolon and with the one or the parentheses. I'm making sure that I fix this now, so when I set up the config.txt, I won't run into any issues. So yeah, everything looks good now. What I'm going to do is from my Vita's config.txt that we just dragged out from FileZilla FTP client, what we're going to do is set up our plugins. So you can see here I already have my plugin set up, but all of the 2 main plugins, so where it says Core Unlocker 80,000H and ioPlus, needs to go under kernel. Do not put it above kernel. You could, if you have other plugins like I do, like no npm, refood, you could just go ahead and place it under those kernels, and then You don't want to mess with anything under with that. So in my example, I'll just, delete this in real time, and I'll show you, how to do this even from scratch. So you're going to take the root of your basically your config.t or tie folder, so ur0tie. I recommend putting both of these plugins in ur0tie, by the way. And what I'm going to do is literally take the name of the plugin itself. So in this case, I'm just going to copy the name, and boom, you can just put that right there. And what you want to do is do that for the same for the ioPlus.skprx. So just take that and place the name right there. And last but not least, for the thread Optimizer.SPRX, make sure if you don't have this at the end of your config.txt where it says all, make sure you could just, create one that says in capital letters all, and you want to put the thread Optimizer.SPRX in the same method. So just to reiterate on how to do this, you could just, take ur0tie with your slashes. So make sure you put the slash, and then where it says the SUPRX, make sure it's under the all column. Me trying to test this out earlier, what I did is put this under the kernel and it didn't work, but make sure it's in all. So this is how yours should generally look like. You may not have all the plugins since I have other stuff messing around with this Vita, but this is how your config.txt should look like. And I will probably have my config.txt in a download section if you want to take in, compare and contrast on how to do that if you just want to copy and paste. But in this case, make sure to save, close out your config.txt. Just make sure again that your work is saved. That's what I always like to do. Config unlocker, ioPlus, and you have your thread optimizer, so everything looks good. And now what we're going to do is go ahead and take our VPKs, our SUPRXs, and drag it and drop to our folder. So what I recommend doing is take your original config.txt, always create a backup of it. I'm just going to call this config backup, just so you never delete it. And then you could take the config.txt you worked on today and just drag it and drop it into the tie folder, and now that's transferred over. As well, you want to take the HENkaku, the SUPRX, and the HENkaku, so the thread optimizer one, ioPlus, and core unlocker, drag that all the way to the root of your ur0tie folder. I already have mine here, and I'm just going to overwrite it because yeah. And then once that is fully done, what you're going to do is go back to the root of your, basically your partitions on your PlayStation Vita, or the folders. You want to go to UX0, aka your memory card, and you want to drag over thread Optimization.VPK. So in this case, I'm actually going to back out, and you're just going to drag it over to UX0. It may take a little second to download, but you can see here from all the transfers that we transferred to config.txt. We also replaced it, and you can see all of our files going onto the correct file locations. And what we're going to do is check this on the PlayStation Vita as well. But right now we're done on the PC side of things, and now what we're going to do is go back to our Vita device, and then we're going to verify we got all of this set up, and we're also going to reboot our device since we're going to check for our plugins. So I'll meet you guys back onto the Vita. Alrighty, so we're back onto the PlayStation Vita itself. What we could do now is just discontinue out of our FTP server. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit circle on my device. And now what we're going to do is go ahead and on my device in the US0, going into the tie folder, we're going to go to our config.txt. You can see from the date and time when I'm doing this, basically it's roughly when I transfer it over. So it's 1:43. You can see here it's 1:40 p.m. Just go to your config.txt, and let's just verify that our stuff is under the kernel. So we can see here core unlocker 80,000H SKPRX is here, ioPlus.skprx is here, and as well under the all column we have the thread optimization SUPRX. So once you have that, you're good to go, and just check that the actual files itself or the plugins are here. So we have core unlocker, we have also ioPlus, and we need to find the last one via right here, which is thread optimizer. Once that is all done, what we're going to do is go ahead and hit start on our PlayStation Vita, and we're just going to go ahead and reboot it. So right now I'm going to cut off my camera, or basically the live stream for the PlayStation Vita. Once it reboots back onto the screen, we're going to go and set up the VPK app, and then we're going to run our game, and I'm going to show you guys on how to utilize your snapshots, or how to make a snapshot for your threads, and how to utilize it via for your game. So I'll do that right now. Alrighty, so my PlayStation Vita has now successfully restarted. What I'm going to do now is go ahead and back into Vita Shell. So let me find it for a second. I have so many applications. Just go ahead and open it up. Now what you want to do is go ahead and just back out from here. You want to go into your UX0 folder. And then from here, what you want to do is go ahead and find Optimizer.VPK. It shouldn't take too long to install since it's 524 megabytes. Make sure you have unsafe homebrew unticked in HENkaku settings before this, or you won't be able to install the VPK itself. But I'm just waiting for it to do its thing. Now once that is done, what we're going to do is just verify that the application is working and just open it up. What you want to see is, of course, you won't have any snapshots saved. So in my case, I'm just going to go ahead and open it up. Let me just actually delete this real quick. So if I go here, I'm going to delete this whole snapshot. But what should happen on your end once you open up the application, since you never created a snapshot in the first place, it will say error, there's no snapshot saved. Just hit OK and then just exit out, or it will exit out for you. But what you want to do to test that your snapshots are working, and basically you can make snapshots to create custom threads and enable the 4th core for certain titles, is to just open up any game of choice. So it's Gravity Rush, or just any game. So in my case, I'm using Gravity Rush. And what I do recommend is for this process is that you are at least into, basically not even in the main menu, but you're actually in the gameplay itself. So what I'm going to do now is play a little bit of Gravity Rush in your face, and then I'm going to show you guys on the combo what you need to do and how to basically enable this. And what I'll do, I'll have like a little mini card on the screen just to showcase the combo if you guys didn't understand it the first time, because I know some of this is kind of tricky to set up. So I'm just trying to skip through this. By the way, if anybody didn't play Gravity Rush on the PlayStation Vita, it's a really good title. But besides the point, what I'm going to do is just try to get to the main segment of this. So let me just tap on the apple. All right, so the apple has fallen. Trying to see if I can skip through this part, because I know at least when you get to like a good portion where you could like walk around in the game, or it's past the main menu, you could go ahead and make your snapshot. So I'm just waiting for I can walk around with Cat for a second, and then I could kind of show you guys in real time on how to do this. So just waiting for that process. And the reason why I'm not doing jump cuts for this whole thing is just kind of show you guys in live time, or basically once this is fully recorded, how to utilize this. So I'm just waiting for it to do its thing. All right, so you can see here I'm live with Cat. I'm just going to go ahead and run around. The way on how to basically get this set up is hold L on your controller, or basically L, R, and square, and hold it down. And what should happen, you should see a little notification on the screen that says TO snapshot has been saved. What I'm going to do again is just hold it down. I'm not too sure if it popped up on the screen or not, but what I'll do is, if I go into here and my notifications, you can see right now that a snapshot has been saved for save title. So what you could do is back out of your title, and you could go into Thread Optimizer, and what should happen is should say your content ID game of your name. So this is Gravity Rush here, I already know because that's just a title ID, and you can see that I can enable the threads for the set game and save the snapshot. So let's say if I wanted to use the first background fiber and give it the CPU affinity mask, I could turn that core on. I could also do this for background fiber persistence. I'm not too sure what this will actually do in game, since I am not really good with the threads, or how to really configure this out for said titles, since I want to do more research. But let's say if I just want to save those 3 options, all you got to do is hit save, and then a snapshot has been saved. So when I load the game, it will be utilizing those 4 cores on those certain thread applications, or basically those certain threads while the game is running. But yeah, essentially that's how you utilize Thread Optimizer, and this can, you know, utilize for homebrew applications as well as games. So I'm pretty sure somebody who, you know, has the knowledge will do one for like Borderlands 2, probably maybe like the Call of Duties, since I know it may have some frame rate drops, but I'm not too sure about that. But yeah, that's essentially how to get this fully set up on your PlayStation Vita. If any developers you know, are watching this video, and you know, if I forgot anything to mention, please, you know, leave a comment down below and I'll make sure to pin it and add that into the description. But with that being said, I just want to give a shout out to the development team who worked on this, which was CPBS as well as Graphene, you know, for, you know, creating these plugins as well. But with that being said, my name is Nagato. It's been a crazy ride with you guys for the 10,000 subscribers, but I'll see you guys in the next video, and hopefully it's a Vita one. Peace. Hey everyone, it's me, Nagato's Revenge here. Hope you guys did enjoy today's video. With that being out the way as well, I highly do recommend that y'all guys go ahead and follow my social media so you never miss any of the latest hacking guides and tutorials on my channel by subscribing to me and hitting that notification button as well. It's another method on how you will know when I drop my latest content, whether it be for the Vita, PS4, PS3, and such and so forth. As well, if you want to be in the mix of things and you want to join my official community, you can join via the link right now showcased on the screen and join my Discord that way. And if you do want to support my channel in any shape or form, you could become a patron. I will have a card right now. But with all of that getting out the way, hope you guys really did enjoy this video, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.